Welcome. It's great to be with you today. My name is Jeremiah Calvino. I'm the founder of Blend Marketing, and we grow tour and activity companies. I'm going to talk today about the 12 most important changes that you want to make on your website and really across your digital presence to optimize for travelers in this post-COVID world. So let's dive in. All right, so starting with your website and kind of the COVID notifications on your site. Love here how Georgia Aquarium is actually starting before that with their branded search ads calling out that they are open. But I'm going to click through to their homepage. And you'll see they've got this pop-up here, really clear messaging, we're open, we'd love to see you, and then really the key things. Tickets are available online, you got to have a reserved time slot, temperature scans, masks, etc. So what I like about this is it's really clear, it's up front, and this is pretty important information for people to know before they leave. Let's look at another example from Ripley's Aquarium. So they've got their messaging around masks. They say that they're open daily. They've got a link here to their COVID-related page. One of the things that I like about this, though, is that they don't have the pop-up. It's still really clear, but there's some of the downsides from a usability standpoint with pop-ups on mobile and accessibility. So I like how Ripley's makes it really clear, but it's not an overlay. The other thing, too, is that they have this conversational bot that I think is really helpful and just persistent all throughout their website. So you can click on this, you can see the key policies, and they have other related pieces of information like ticket policies that you can just click on, and it brings that right into this chatbot window, which I found to be really helpful. Looking at Tripadvisor, very much kind of standard. This notification bar at the top of the page. I think that this is becoming really a standard across a lot of sites, and that tapping into the ubiquity is really valuable. Another example is Intrepid. They don't have the bar at the top of the page, but fairly high up. Safe travels, flexible bookings, and you can click through to their COVID-19 hub. One of the things that is really good about what Intrepid is doing here is they've brought together all of the different pieces, whether it's the safety protocols they have, their flexible booking policies, cancellations, etc. And then this is something that they can just maintain over time. So I would really encourage you to think through what are all of the different parts of your experience, your tours, that the pandemic has impacted or maybe have changed customers' expectations. Compile that onto a single place. That'll make your life easier over time as you update it, as well as make the life of your customers easier. Another example here, just a simple kind of notification bar at the top of that page that takes you through to the COVID policies. So I'm going to show you how to create a bar like this on your own site in less than 2 minutes. So Google has a free tool called Google Optimize. And if you have a Google Analytics account, Google Ads account, you can just use that same account to log into this. And again, it's free. Go to optimize.google.com and you'll just hit the Create Experience button. It'll pop up like this. You can put in the URL of your website and then just choose the banner template. Hit the Create button. It's going to think here for a second. And it's going to load up this editor so that we can see what this looks like right on the page. So I can take out the word update, hit done here, adjust this wording. Click done there. Learn more is fine. I'll click done. And then this is the key part. Your COVID page, you're going to want to enter into this destination box. So I'm going to backspace out the pound sign and type in there /COVID. and close this, hit save, and I'm done. There's a little snippet of code that you need to have installed on your website for this to work. If you already have Google Optimize installed on your site, you're good to go. Otherwise, you may need your web developer to put that into the top of the page or install it through Google Tag Manager. And that's it. Number two, let's look at the booking engine. This is really the path to purchase. We want to make sure that at that critical moment, people have the information they need. So to the Georgia Aquarium again, I'm looking at a page about whale sharks here and decide it's ready to buy. I click this tickets button. And when I come to the tickets page, let's see if I can get it to fire here. Oh no. There we go. I get this pop-up. Georgia Aquarium is open to the public, but then this is really detailed, more detailed than we saw before about what the specific things are that they're doing, the exact temperature requirements, etc., in order to get admission to the park. Now, Fair Harbor has something built in directly to their booking engine. If you go to settings and then info and policies, you'll come to this screen here, and then if you click through to health and safety, there's this box right here, and you can just type in whatever the policies are that are relevant to you. Here's an example of what that looks like for a customer. So I'm going to choose a date here, and the calendar loads up, and then there's this health and safety banner at the top of that. I can click on it, and I get all of the policies. Now, this is a lot, and of course, many of us do have a lot of policies, but if you can be concise, make that a little bit easier for people to read, that's ideal. But this is a great way to provide that information to people right at the point of time of purchase. Number three is your Google My Business profile. Now, honestly, your Google My Business profile is probably the most seen part of your digital presence. Many companies see 10, 20 times more people looking at their GMB profile than actually coming to their website. So this is a spot that you want to make sure you get right. Particularly if people are driving to your destination, your hours say that you're open, but you're not actually open, can lead to a lot of bad reviews and upset customers. So logging into your Google My Business dashboard, on this home screen, you're going to see this banner that says stay connected during COVID. And really most of what you need is right here. So the first thing is clicking on update service availability and just filling out this little form. Is your business open? Are you offering on-site services? Are you offering online appointments? I think that if you are offering some type of virtual tours that people can sign up for, that's a great place to put yes in there and then put a link to that page, that sign up page. So I'm going to hit done here, and that's going to set all of that availability correctly for my profile. Obviously, if things change, make sure that you go in here and update it. Your business hours are really important, even on a day-to-day basis. If something happens, there is an incident, a shutdown. One of the things that Google has allowed you to do now is temporarily close your business. So you can do that for 1 day or 2 days and then turn it back on. But if you want to make sure that people aren't showing up, if you do have a closure, that's really helpful. And then lastly, but maybe most importantly, is posting your COVID-19 update. And you can do that by clicking this right here, post your COVID-19 update, or by hitting create post. And there's a lot of different types of GMB posts, but there's this specific post type COVID-19 update. And you can put in your information here. And then, like we were talking about before, having that dedicated COVID page on your site, I'd always recommend adding the Learn More button and then linking to, myattraction.com/COVID or whatever your COVID URL is. So let's see what that looks like when I publish this. So Google is surfacing this pretty prominently, both on desktop and on mobile. So I just Googled a zipline company here, and you can see on desktop, they specifically call out this COVID-19 updates from business. And then on mobile as well, right in kind of the information panel that comes up when I search for that company, the COVID-19 update is showing. I would recommend updating these about once a week. Eventually, Google will not show them anymore, but also customers may not trust them the older they are. So as things progress, even if they're staying the same, go ahead once a week, just post that little COVID-19 update through GMB so that Google can display that information to people and that you can create confidence around what your current offerings are. On to Facebook, everybody's favorite. So Facebook is used, of course, a lot, both as a discovery tool, people looking for things to do, as well as people following organic posts, paid posts that you're making. So you want to make sure information there is always accurate. One of the things you might be used to making changes to your Facebook page through the app, which is great. Unfortunately, a lot of these features aren't fully implemented, are kind of buggy on the app, so I recommend using the desktop version for some of these. Number one, if we scroll down here to the left sidebar, there's this button that says Edit Page Info. You want to go ahead and click on that, and then go to the Hours tab. And here, there's a few different options. So no hours available, always open, permanently closed, open on selected hours. So of course, you can modify these on an ongoing basis, but if you keep scrolling, they got some cool options here. Open with service changes, temporarily closed or operating as usual. So if you do have some service changes, again, you can click that other changes box, put in a URL here to your COVID page, and Facebook will add a little bit of a link there to highlight the changes that you have made to your services. So highly recommend doing this. In addition to this, you really want to make use of the COVID-19 post type. Very similar to GMB. This one is very effective. So you write your post, let's just say it's something really exciting. All tours are back to normal. And there's this little purple heart right here for COVID-19 update. We go ahead and click on this. And Facebook is telling you, how should I use these? And this is important. If you overuse it, if you kind of spam Facebook, there's some negative repercussions. But new services you're offering, so if you have virtual tours or socially distanced tours, private tours, things like that, changes to availability, safety practices, Facebook wants you to use this COVID-19 update. And it does some cool things, including pushing notifications to your engaged followers to let them know when there are changes. So especially for attractions, if you have people visiting regularly, but really any business, this is a great way. Just marking and post as a COVID-19 update will really help. If you do a post and you're like, oh, I forgot, I wanted that to be a COVID-19 update, you can actually click on these three little dots on any post and mark an existing post as a COVID-19 update. I would even recommend you going back into your timeline, and if you have some posts about different policies that you didn't mark as COVID-19 updates, go ahead and just tag them that way. It'll make it a little bit easier for people to find. And lastly, little pro tip, bringing these messages of safety or flexible booking into your customers' feeds can be really valuable in creating future bookings. Oftentimes we see companies using remarketing campaigns through Facebook, through Instagram to bring these messages. And you can spy on all of the other ads that competitors or other types of tour and activity companies are running. You do that by going to this website, facebook.com/ads/library. And you can type in any company that you want, and Facebook will show you all of the ads that they're running. So I'm looking here at Disney World, and you can see they're running ads for camping and for glamping and cabins and different types of ads talking about face coverings. So this is really helpful to just kind of see what's the messaging that other people are using and maybe give you ideas of how you can bring these messages of safety and confidence through remarketing ads to your own customer base. We're on to Tripadvisor. Now, I'm going to show you things that are specific to Tripadvisor, but really you should go through this process with any OTA that you are on. So I was looking for things to do in San Francisco, and honestly, it was a pretty frustrating experience. A lot of times I came across things like this, which say open now, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And there's all these tours, but if you actually click through to the website, there's a big banner at the top that says the palace is closed, which I'm pretty sure is true. I'm pretty sure it is closed, but this mismatch of information is obviously quite frustrating. What it should look like is this, where there's a banner at the top. If you're closed, it says temporarily closed. And then, of course, you can put in information in the overview about that. So this is at a company level, right? So on Tripadvisor, you have a company page, and then if you're selling product through Tripadvisor, each of those tours has their own page. So let's look at how this looks on a tour page. Again, this is a product that I'm pretty sure does not exist currently because of COVID restrictions. However, it's showing availability and allowing me even to purchase right now. So if you do have product out there, sometimes the availability can be weird, so definitely double check all your OTAs to make sure that if you're not selling a tour, they're not still selling the tour. I can imagine this would be a frustrating experience. But to contrast that, here's some tours that are operating. Segway tour, and you can see that if a COVID update has been set, Tripadvisor displays this banner at the top of the page. You can click read more, just a little bit down. Some of the things that I really like about this is that there's a consistent list of things as you go from tour to tour that are all the same. Face masks, sanitation, etc. And then there's a note here where you can put in custom information. Again, another tour in San Francisco, click that and you see the items in the list might be a little bit different, but there's overlap and I can much more easily compare policies between providers. So let's look at what you need to do for your Tripadvisor business profile. So if you are temporarily closed, then you just want to go to manage your listing, this hours tab, and hit this little slider that says temporarily closed. And of course, you could also edit your attraction details as necessary to put in additional messaging. On the tour side of it, you need to go into the Viator supplier dashboard, click on Manage for the particular product, and you really need to do this for every product that you have listed. And when you do this, all the way kind of near the bottom of the product detail report, there is a pane here for COVID-19 health and safety measures. Click Edit there. And then here's this list, this punch list, where all the different things that apply to you, you can go ahead and check off. And then additional content that you want to provide, put in that safety box. When you update this, it will show up on your tours page. Next, we're going to look at the world of messaging. Messaging apps are kind of a big deal. 1.3 billion people use Facebook Messenger, sending over 20 billion messages between businesses and customers each month. And Facebook owns another messaging app, WhatsApp, that has 2 billion users. So messaging is clearly a dominant way that many people are looking for information and really prefer over browsing and clicking and scrolling through websites. So let's look at a few examples of what you can do with Facebook Messenger. I'm here at Knott's Berry Farm and I'm going to click on the message button, get started, and you can see when I do that, a little bot starts going and automatically says, hey, thanks for contacting us. And then there's options here. And, they kind of understand what are the most common things that people are going to be looking for: season passes, hotel reservations. But the park updates, the theme park closure, yep, that's what I'm looking for. I can click on that and get an up-to-date information and link to the website, COVID policies, information about the park. So this is really helpful. Instead of somebody, maybe you had posted about this a couple days ago or a couple of weeks ago, but instead of people having to scroll through your feed and try to find that information or come to your website, they can stay right on platform, either inside of Facebook or inside a Messenger app, and get the information that they're looking for really quickly. Let's look at another example from the Florida Aquarium. I'm going to hit this big send message button here. And they've got a really great bot. They've got natural language here, as well as common things that the people are looking for. So I'm going to just type something in here and test out this. Are you open? All right, great. Gives me the hours and reopening information, ticket information. Cool. I'm going to ask about something about masks here. Do I need a mask? So, okay, following expert recommendations, we are requiring all guests to wear masks. Great. So I can get other information that I might need. But really simple way, of course, I'm on desktop here, but typically I'd be on mobile, and instead of having to make a phone call, I can just quickly get all the information that I need right here. So let's look at how you could build something like this for free inside of Facebook. Close these. All right. So if you go to your Facebook page and go to page settings, and then over on the left here, there's a setting for Messenger. And if I scroll down, pretty far down, it says set up automated responses, and you want to click the setup button. Once you come into the screen, there's a few different types of automated messages that you'll be able to set up. So my three favorite are frequently asked questions, contact information, and location. Contact information and location do work with natural language processing. So if somebody types in like, what's the address, or how do I get there, or something like that, it kind of understands that they're asking a question about location and will automatically send through the message that you put in there. And you can add an attachment. I have a link right to Google Maps so people can tap that button and quickly get their directions. Same thing with contact information. But we're going to look at frequently asked questions. So I already have a few frequently asked questions in here. Are you open? Are the fall colors out yet? You can see we've got a cool picture in there for that. But I'm going to add a question specifically about COVID. So click here, add a question. What are your COVID policies? And for sake of time here, just going to copy and paste some information from our website through. And then I'm going to do add a button, and I'm going to choose the button label to be learn more, and then the website URL to be our COVID-19 page that we're using across all of our platforms. So paste that in and hit save. And so now I'm going to flip over to what a customer on their phone would see here. So they come to the Facebook page, they hit the send message button, and you can see those frequently asked questions are kind of pre-populated there for people. So they can say, are the fall colors out yet? And Facebook will automatically respond with these questions, and they can ask other questions and get these information in real time. So we've talked about Google My Business and Facebook, other platforms where people may find you. But is that it? No, there's a lot of other places. So one cool tool is Bright Local has a free tool where you can type in the address of your tour activity company and hit scan my listings. And what it'll do is just go through and bring up Bing, Foursquare, Yelp, etc., all these different places where your website might be listed, and you can find different data errors with them. But I'm going to dive into Bing Maps and Yelp specifically. So I type in big bus tours in San Francisco here, and you can see on Google My Business, it says the hours were updated by the business 2 weeks ago. Great. It's showing it's closed Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Clicking through here, I see a banner that says, we're back. Our tours are operating Friday through Monday. So a little bit of a discrepancy between what was on Google My Business 2 weeks ago and what's on the website. But now if I go to Bing and type in San Francisco Big Bus, it shows open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So where is it getting this data from? Well, you can see it's getting reviews from Tripadvisor. So I can click through to Tripadvisor and look at the listing. But actually on this listing, there's no hours at all. Well, oftentimes Bing gets their data from Yelp as a data provider. And I'm going to hop over to Yelp here, and it's unclaimed. See, claim this business. But sure enough, on Yelp, it's listing the hours as 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's probably getting the data from here. As you can see, this is a really frustrating customer journey. What do I believe? The website, GMB, Yelp, Bing, etc. And Bing and Yelp do power a lot of different search, particularly on mobile. It's the default search for a lot of Windows computers. So you want to make sure that you have your information correct on these sites. So the easiest way to do this is to set up an account for Bing Places for Business. And one thing that's really cool is they have an API integration with Google My Business. You can see when you go here, it says import from GMB, and you can click on this, and it actually even has an option here where instead of it being a one-time thing, you can say every week, I just want you to take whatever's on my Google My Business and sync it into my Bing Places account. So I would highly recommend, at bare minimum, if you're like, I don't have time to mess with Bing Places, spend the 10 minutes to do this one time, sync it with your GMB account, and that way at least you can have relatively accurate data on Bing Maps. But going into Bing, it's very similar to a lot of the other platforms that we looked at. They do have COVID announcements. You can set these up here. You can choose a valid till date, which is nice. They also have a mark as temporarily closed option. And of course, we can go in and set the specific hours or special hours. So highly recommend you go into Bing Places, at minimum, sync it with GMB. And if ideally, you would keep this maintained as well. Yelp too. These are platforms that both get a lot of traffic for many businesses. And so claiming your profiles, making sure that that information is accurate is great. Where else? Email. Email is a great way to bring these messages, particularly to the people who have already placed a booking or your most engaged customers. So here's a Southwest email. And what I liked about this is that they're using this as a promotion. Middle seats open through the end of November. Also talking about other safety precautions they're taking, and then a clear link to their COVID safety page. Another example is Marriott. At the very top of their email, this is a booking confirmation email. They have a link to their COVID-19 update and cancellation policy. And then right below, kind of the basic information is the hotel alert, face coverings are required. Some hotel facilities may not be available Uh, I had really mixed emotions about this. It was nice that they are promoting the face coverings, which are required at all Marriott properties. However, understanding, well, what hotel facilities or services may not be available. Many places have restaurants closed or pools closed. Listing what's open and what's not open would be really helpful in this email so that I know what to expect, or at least a follow-up email maybe the day before with a current set of information so that I know what to expect. So I think some opportunity for Marriott to improve here, but definitely take both your email newsletters as well as your booking confirmation emails and make sure that that link to your current COVID policy is near the top, and any specific information that people will need to know when they arrive is in the booking confirmation email. Next, we're going to talk about good old phone. People call. And so having this information in your phone system and the people who are answering the phones well trained on being able to provide those answers is really important. Um, a few systems that we've used in the past are CallRail. You can do a lot of different call tracking with this system, but also build out pre-recorded messages and prompts. Another one is DialPad. But again, make sure that you've got a system that can answer these questions for people so that those who are calling in are getting that clear, concise information. The next one is photography. So we've talked a lot about explaining your policies and pages and updates and stuff, but really one of the better things to do is show it. And I love what Dollywood is doing. They've got an Instagram feed on their homepage, and you can just see people at their park wearing their face coverings and having a lot of fun. And so this is a great way of showing what's going on right now. This is a tour operator out of Kansas City, and they took a trip to Michigan, and again, just showing that in-trip experience, people dressed up and masked up, having fun. Disney is doing an incredible job of both their videos as well as their imagery, all really showing what you can expect when you come to Disney right now. And lastly, reviews. So I was looking at reviews for a local zipline operator here in Wisconsin, and this was a great review that just came in a few days ago. It was my first time ziplining. It surpassed my expectations. Safety was a top priority, and they were overly COVID compliant. So this is a great review to feature. A lot of times you have featured reviews around your website. And so for them, we have a featured review on the page here. And, just calling that out so that as people are concerned about, hey, what's going on? Obviously, you don't want to talk exclusively about, and I love this particular testimonial because they said, great safety precautions without compromising the experience. So if you're able to tell those kinds of stories through featured reviews, that's a great way to help set the expectations of what people are going to see when they are on your tour. And that's it. Easy peasy, right? Yeah. Digital has led to a lot of fragmentation, and staying on top of all these channels is a lot of work. But I do believe that as operators, if we're able to provide travelers with clear, accurate information, it'll help provide confidence and increase safety, which will increase bookings and hopefully ease the path to recovery for us all. If you have any questions, please feel free to connect with me in chat. And also you can go to blend.travel/reopen and get all the links that I discussed today. Hope to see you soon.